All right, my name is Janet Kunselman, and my diagnosis is relapsing remitting MS. I was diagnosed in 1994. I started out with Avonex for the first 8-9 years since 1994, and then I started to have more and more relapses, and we decided that I was probably building an antibody against the Avonex. The Avonex was also taking my white blood count, which was already low, down to a 2.7, which was extremely low. So they decided to take me, my doctor took me off of Avonex and wanted to try me on Copaxone, a different type of drug, and I did not tolerate Copaxone. I had severe reactions, injection site reactions, pain that would last for weeks. And I had to do this injection every day, so I decided I just could not put myself through this anymore, so I quit the Copaxone, and that was the last FDA MS endorsed drug that I've been on. I first found out about low-dose naltrexone from a gentleman who went to our church, and it was in a medical flyer that he received monthly, bi-monthly, and I started to investigate low-dose naltrexone in the month of March, when I realized I was not going back on any of the FDA-approved disease-modifying drugs for MS. And I researched it and researched it and researched it and decided it was something that I wanted to try. And by researching it, I did realize that it was going to be almost next to impossible to find a prescribing doctor due to many roadblocks. I did go to my neurologist, my MS specialist in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and he said that he would not prescribe it. He doesn't believe in it, but he did want to continue seeing me to see how I do on the new LDN. So I continued to do my search until I found a prescribing physician. He prescribed LDN for me in May of '07, and I'm happy to say that it is now October of 2007, and I'm on 4.5 milligrams, and I'm doing great. Having given myself an injection once a week for the past 9 years, and then having to give myself an injection every day, and having severe reactions to both injections, and to continue to have disease progression, I decided I had had enough. And when I heard of something so simple and so inexpensive as LDN, and something that could possibly stop the progression of my disease as well as maybe improve my symptoms and cost pennies compared to what I had been paying, it was a no-brainer. And I decided at that point in my disease progression that I was going to go for it.
Okay, my name is Benz. I was diagnosed in August of 2001 with multiple sclerosis. I was on beta-seron for approximately 3 years. I went off the beta-seron and started on low-dose naltrexone approximately March of 2004. I learned about low-dose naltrexone through the internet and approached my neurologist about getting a prescription for naltrexone. She would not talk to me about it. She would not acknowledge it at all. I brought her literature and information to read. She would not have anything to do with it. I then learned about Skip's Pharmacy also through the internet and called there and asked him of names of physicians in my area that were prescribing LDN. It was through that contact with Skip that I learned the name of a doctor right down the street from me, whom I went to, and she wrote the prescription. I live in South Florida. The heat was always an issue for me. I frequently had days that I called my wet noodle days that I could barely function. The dizzies that he mentioned earlier, I had a real issue with dizzies, fatigue. I participated on Mother's Day. I participated in a triathlon in Orlando. It's not anything I would have ever done 3 years ago. I wouldn't even consider doing it. I feel I was very disappointed with my neurologist. I brought her printed literature on LDN. She never even acknowledged receiving it. I know for a fact that she received it, and I just feel that she she's my doctor. She works for me. She's supposed to be taking care of me, and yet she was not willing to even look at or read the information that I brought to her about this medication that I wanted to try.
My name is Fritz, and for about 5 years people knew me as Goodshape. As Goodshape, I was the husband of a woman with a severe case of multiple sclerosis, and having spent $100,000 on trying to find a cure, in desperation I went to the internet. I found out there were people willing to talk there. I set up a message board and an information board to hopefully disseminate other people's ideas on possible cures or remedies for multiple sclerosis. And it turned out, to my own amazement, that the internet did attract desperate people with multiple sclerosis who had run out of ideas for how to treat their disease, and they came to the internet. Many of them came to my website and shared the ideas. And in fact, I guess one of the things I'm proudest of is that a just slight story about a friend of Dr. Bahari's who had multiple sclerosis. When it was reported on another website, one of our people picked it up and put it on our website in February of 2000. And I would say within 30 days, at least 100 people on our website were taking low-dose naltrexone for multiple sclerosis.
I was on LDN before he even started, but basically what had happened, after going to a fundraiser in Auburn in August, my wife and I had another appointment with Cree shortly thereafter, and between the time I went to the fundraiser in Auburn and my appointment with Cree, I went on LDN through Dr. Bahari. And when I went to Dr. Cree's appointment, we were very concerned about basically Dr. Cree saying, go away, because I was basically going against what he originally had asked me to do. But reality, what happened is all he said was, this is a medication that needs to be studied. And when that happened, my wife and I are very pleased about all of it. And we actually started talking money as far as, okay, what's it going to take, to fund it. And, he started rolling dollars out. And I then contacted Bill Roberts, just because internet friends. And I said, hey, I just came back from my UCSF appointment. And he then, about a day later, asked me for my doctor's name. Pretty soon, Sammy Joe's asking me for his name. I gave it to him, and then like a week or so later, Sammy Joe writes back, this guy's the real deal. And here we are.